fine people over at Fox News engaged in a debate regarding New York's Governor Andrew Cuomo and the multiple allegations of sexual assault that have been made public against him. Now, Geraldo has decided that maybe this is a good time to defend someone who allegedly kissed a former staffer without consent, who also proceeded to ask all sorts of inappropriate sexual questions, just made his former staffers uncomfortable, then later, made another woman at a wedding uncomfortable. But Geraldo's like, come on. I mean, poor guy's lonely. Here's his argument.
Now, I'm very sympathetic to these young ladies who have come forward. None, as far as I have heard yet, has alleged, conduct that would be called sexual assault in the classic sense of it. Andrew Cuomo, I know this is the most unpopular thing in America to say right now. He's a 63-year-old single guy living in Albany, the most boring town in America. He's all by himself, and single women come by. I'm not saying anything is appropriate. I'm saying that there's human nature, and we have to recognize that he's not
Geraldo, when you say that, you're basically saying
made out.
Oh my God, that was awful.
Sexual harassment is bad. It's wrong. I feel a lot of empathy for women who have been, or people who have been sexually harassed. Except if you live in a boring town, then it's okay because you might be a little lonely and you have no choice but to sexually harass your own staffers. That was his argument, John.
Anna, cut him some slack. They shut down the only Dave and Buster's in town. What's he gonna do? That's it.
Dave and Buster's is so much fun. I miss that. I know place.
It is. They didn't have enough. He didn't have enough activities. Throw him some toys, perhaps a ball. Give him something to do. I've never heard he was so bored he had to harass as an argument.
I mean, that tight shot of Geraldo's face is very uncomfortable, given the commentary that we just heard from him. Okay,
just pray that Geraldo is not bored.
Well, okay, that's a good point because oh, come on, Skip, you're gonna do that too. I'm just kidding. But it is a very close up shot of Geraldo's
Cuomo needs a
strange face.
Someone said in the chat.
It makes me wonder what Geraldo does when he's bored. Like if he thinks that being bored is justification to engage in sexual harassment. Dan Bongino did chime in. He apparently was disgusted by Cuomo and does want to hold him accountable, but it's for a very political reason. Let's watch.
He wanted Kavanaugh to take a lie detector test, and he went out with I believe himself too. Dan?
Yeah, that's all crap what Geraldo just said. Because listen, I'm sorry, man, but this, like you just said, this guy has put himself on the totem pole of morality. He's put himself at the top. Kavanaugh, who had the most ridiculous accusations you've ever heard leveled against him, debunked by every credible person who understood what really happened in Kavanaugh. And Cuomo was out there. He needs to take a polygraph test, a lie detector test. Nah, man. I'm sorry, Geraldo. He could be lonely all he wants, and go
what
get a dog.
Do with him? What are you gonna do? You're gonna arrest him?
I'm not doing anything with him. He's disgusting and he's a creep. I don't want anything to do. I wouldn't even have a tequila shot with this guy. Go get a freaking dog, man. If you're lonely, stop putting your mitts on people. It's probably not a good idea to be doing kissy play with people who aren't interested. It's kind of gross. Unlike Andrew Cuomo, I actually believe in process. Andrew Cuomo is innocent until proven guilty. Even though I dislike the guy as much as I dislike any human being on planet Earth. Having said that, there was never a scintilla of credibility to the charges against Kavanaugh, ever.
Yeah, well, Bongino, I mean, for him, this is a political issue, and it doesn't need to be a political issue. Kavanaugh had credible allegations against him. Kavanaugh did not face a real FBI investigation. The FBI did a narrow scope investigation that was supposed to last a week, which was far too short, but they didn't even take up a full week. They decided with less than a week in this investigation that, yeah, he's good, he's fine. Yeah. Okay, well, he's a Supreme Court justice now, so that's great. But this is not, I wanna be clear, this is not a political issue. And yes, Cuomo should resign, not only because he sexually harassed former staffers and one other woman that we know of, but also because he made terrible decisions that led to deaths in nursing homes in his own state, then proceeded to cover up those numbers and lied to the people of his own state, and then proceeded to threaten a Democratic state assemblyman for not defending him publicly after he had been embroiled in that cover-up scandal with the nursing home deaths. So yes, he should resign, Geraldo. He should resign. That's what he should do.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think you handled that very well. I will say that this is a political issue, not the Cuomo stuff. He's got plenty of political issues. No, what you just saw on Fox News is a political issue, and the political issue is that a bunch of, what do you know? It's a bunch of guys have a view of whether sexual assault or harassment are being bad or not, which is entirely just a product of who did it and what are the implications of acknowledging it. That's it. There's no further thought than that. Whether accusations are credible or not doesn't mean anything. It just means, do I want to believe they're true? With Kavanaugh and with Cuomo, it's the same thing. It's the word of the woman and further contemporaneous confirmation and all of that. It's the same thing, but they care about one and they don't care about the other because fundamentally they don't care about women or assault. They care about political payback. We've figured out something that I don't think is complicated here, which is that we reported on Cuomo and on Trump's accusers and on Kavanaugh's accusers and on Tara Reade and on Madison Cawthorn. What do you know? We found a way to be consistent on sexual assault, but virtually no one else can do that. Everybody picks maximum 50% of that span that we just talked about and pretends to care about it briefly if it'll produce some political outcome that they like. It doesn't seem super complicated to just take it seriously all the time and talk about the accusations. I would advise other media outlets to look into it. It's not as hard as you might seem to believe it is.
Yeah, when you use something as serious as sexual harassment, sexual assault as nothing more than, something meant to be used for political leverage, you're just as bad as the people who engage in that behavior. You're helping to cover up or defend individuals who engage in that behavior, while at the same time using it as something to destroy political opponents. It's an issue that should be devoid of a political agenda and should focus solely on doing what's right to protect people. Because as we know, especially when it comes to sexual harassment in the workplace, women are disproportionately represented as the victims in that case. But people in general, I mean, we've heard stories of men who have had to deal with these types of advances, who have had to deal with sexual assault, who have had to deal with rape, right? And it doesn't get covered to the same extent, but it's a problem. And so this is a problem that should, we should want to deal with fairly to make sure that people feel protected, that people feel safe. But it just becomes nothing more than a political bargaining chip by bad faith actors. And it's incredibly frustrating to see it.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.